Hey, do you remember that show with Exhibit back in the day on MTV called Pimp My Ride, where they would just take a old junker and turn it into something crazy that you would see from Fast and the Furious?
Oh yeah, I do. I actually have seen a couple stories over the last couple years about how
No, we're not going to talk about that show. What we're going to do is we're going to talk about Magic the Gathering cards that you can use to pimp out your decks. We've got $5 variants. The Booster Fun era has made everything cheap. Highest level of gratitude to our patrons who power the channel through Patreon. Check out the Patreon link in the description to learn about monthly giveaways, VIP Discord access, and even our official playmat. So we've got our sponsors to thank. Card Conduit, that is where you go to buy list your Magic the Gathering cards. Save your time and make some money. Get rid of those old singles you aren't using. Send them to Card Conduit. They're going to do all the buy listing for you. They're going to send you money. You can use our code to save on your fees. You can find codes to all of our stuff in the description of the video. Also, to our sponsor, Dragon Shield, best sleeves in the multiverse, and it's not just sleeves. They have deck boxes, play mats, and all sorts of gear under the sun to protect your Magic the Gathering cards. You can use our code there to save as well. And then also TCG Player, where you can take all the money that you made on Card Conduit, and because you're so addicted, you're going to bring it right back to the MTG Marketplace. Spend all of that cash at TCG Player. Use our affiliate link when you do, and it helps out the channel at no additional cost to you. And also a big thank you to Moxfield, where you can go to organize all of your Magic the Gathering decks and share them with your friends.
Jake, every card on this list is between $4 and $6, and every card on this list is a special treatment of a very playable card. Starting with Assassin's Trophy, we have got Vraska featured in a piece of art from the 2x2 version here a few years back. Destroy target permanent an opponent controls. Its controller may search their library for a basic land card, put it on the battlefield, and shuffle. We're fine with that drawback because this is going to let us destroy anything, even a land if we want to.
Yes, and because it says basic land, if you are in particularly high power pods, there's a very good chance that they will just fail to find, because some EDH decks do not always run a lot of basics, and if they tutor them up early, they might just go in there and be like, well, I don't have a basic to find, and so you've destroyed something really good for a simple green and a black.
That's a really good point. I think over the last few years too, there have become such an increase in the amount of utility lands that are good playable cards in Commander 2. I've been cutting more basics than ever. I've actually failed to find on cards like this, cards on like Path to Exile recently, so I'm with you on that.
Also, Mystic Forge 4 for you may look at the top card of your library at any time. You may cast artifact spells and colorless spells from the top of your library. It has this really unique ability. You could tap it, pay 1 life, exile the top card of your library. So if you don't like what's up there, you want to kind of refine what you're going to be drawing, this is a great card for that. I run it in pretty much all my artifact-centric decks. It's just a mainstay staple.
Yeah.
And so we've got the sketch kind of blueprint version that came out of Brothers War for you today that we're showing off.
This is the sketch treatment that I actually liked versus where the whole frame looks sketchy and it doesn't just look like a hand-drawn diagram. That's what I like about it. Yeah, Jake, it goes in pretty much every artifact deck, Eldrazi, anything that has to do with just straight up colorless, it's also relevant there. And here in the blueprint version, I particularly think this like sketchy looking art that you may find on a schematic looks cooler for your like artifact themed decks. You know, I think it's pretty tight treatment, as do I think it's a tight treatment here with Oran Frostfang. 2 green, 3 other for a 2/6 snake. Attacking creatures, all of them you control, have death touch, and whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player because they're de-incentivized to block because they're attacking with death touch, you get to draw a card. Great green creature as a resident turn things sideways builder. Love this card. CMM, really expensive packs. There were some crazy hits, really overpriced set, but a set full of insane cards that are very playable, insane on their playability. And so you end up with cool treatments like this.
I really love this card. Its application is pretty broad. You're able to put it in token decks if you just want to give your tokens a good way to get through. And you can also just put it in like a red-green beats, you know, just to have some card draw, give your stuff death touch like you were talking about. It's a very good card, and it's had quite an adjustment in price downward because of the reprint. It's great to see it. We also have Massacre Worm, and this is an old boomer card from when Joel and I were playing back in the day.
Yeah,
But it's
baby.
nice that it's kind of withstood the test of time, and we still see it. We just saw one of our buddies play it in a recent episode of a new gameplay series that we're working on. Stay tuned for more info on that. Massacre Worm, 3 black, 3 other for 6/5. When Massacre Worm enters the battlefield, creatures your opponents control get -2/-2 until end of turn. Whenever a creature an opponent controls dies, that player loses 2 life. So like we were just talking about tokens, this card can absolutely hose the player that has like weenie go wide
my
deck,
God,
and
dude.
oftentimes it could just absolutely kill them.
Yeah, finisher against the squirrel deck for sure. Ripping everybody down by 2 toughness. And that passive goes off even if the top ability doesn't get the creature. If you can just get Massacre Worm on the battlefield and start killing things, they're losing 2 life every time it pings. Love this piece for Massacre Worm. There's been a lot of really good Massacre Worm arts, to be completely honest, but this one is really tight, and I do love that M21 version. Jake, it's interesting that it fell out that I'm introducing SRAM Senior Edificer, white and 1 for a 2/2 Dwarf Advisor. Whenever you cast an aura, equipment, or vehicle, draw a card. Fantastic card advantage in any deck that has to do with auras, equipments, or vehicles, as you can see from the text of the card. This etched version being around that $5 mark, I particularly like etched versions in decks that have to do with equipment or decks that have to do with artifacts or vehicles. I think that it's a cool aesthetic to match those themes.
I've never seen this card. I like that you put it on my radar.
Yeah, you should try, maybe grab a notebook, fill them up with those. That could be fun.
Yeah, I don't know if I'll be buying more than one of that card. Next up, we got Basilisk Collar for 1. Equipped creature has Death Touch and Lifelink with Equip 2. It's got a doggo, chat.
Got a dog.
It's got a dog.
Dog
yeah,
tax.
We got a dog. Yeah, dog tax. So this came out of Fallout. Fallout, it's been a little while since that set came out.
About a year.
Holy cow, dude, those like collector boxes continue to appreciate on those Universes Beyond crossovers. The right ones, man, they hit super hard. But yeah, if you like Basilisk Color, this is a card that's great. Death Touch and Lifelink on a creature for 1 cost and a equip of 2. This card can absolutely swing a game, and it's just such a great card. And yeah, it has a dog.
Generically good, and this is the copy that's got the dog on it, ladies and gentlemen. The dog one. Beautiful copy of Sun Titan here. This came from the Countdown kit. I think we might have suggested that you buy this card before, but we're putting it on the list again just to be sure and clear that around $5 is a good price for this copy of Sun Titan. It was only available in that 30th anniversary countdown. We've never seen a product like that have their art used again in paper, so it's, pseudo reserve listy when you're looking at secret layers or special products like that. It's just such a wonderful version of a very played card. It's only around $5, I would assume now, because Sun Titan has been printed into the dirt. You can go get a copy of this for nothing. Any pre-con that has white in it, it's probably like, should we put Sun Titan in this one? And so it's an available card, but this is a gorgeous copy.
What do you think is like the Titan that's really withstood the test of time? Because like Prime Time is banned in Commander.
Yeah,
I feel like it must be Sun Titan, because Gravy Train is kind of old and dated.
It
Not
can
a lot
still
of people
get
are on Gravy
argued
Train.
about, though. Frost Titan doesn't get any argument. Inferno Titan doesn't get any argument.
Inferno Titan and Zinnia was good because you got those.
There's tricks. There's tricks with all of them. I mean, they're still good. They're just 6 costs. They're all so fair nowadays that it lowers the power level out of playability because they're too fair. They're just good. And so with Sun Titans being able to get you 9 mana value worth of value off of a 6 mana cast, it makes sense why this has become the one that remains, because Prime Titan, it's too much value on there. But yeah, I would say Sun Titan is who's left. You could argue over Grave Titan because at least it puts 10 power on the battlefield, but there's a pair of nerds that would disagree with me.
There are definitely a couple nerds that would disagree with you there. Ewit here, Eternal Witness, pretty much one of the most iconic Commander cards. When you think of Commander, I feel like Eternal Witness, if you said, what are your top 10 Commander cards? Eternal Witness is probably going to appear on a lot of people's lists just because it's always been so good. You get a resource back, just like we were talking about Sun Titan. Why is Sun Titan so good? Well, because you're getting something back that you need. Your graveyard is your toolbox. Eternal Witness is the builder Oh God.
I would know. I
really-
keep going.
just
Dig the
didn't
metaphor
really-
out.
that
Dig the
just really
metaphor
didn't
out.
hit super. Okay. The eternal witness is the carpenter that is using the graveyard as the toolbox.
Boom.
Metaphor complete.
Metaphor complete. Y'all, this is an insane looking magic card. You know that because you're looking at it with your eyes. Witness me as I witness you is a terrifying thing to have an entity that it's constructed of 3 eyes say to you, and I will not be witnessing it if provided the choice. The card is crazy looking though. It's sure to turn heads at the table. Around $5 for a magic card that doesn't look like a magic card. Depending on if you like that kind of thing, this could be a really cool way to pimp out your deck and turn some heads. Jake, I saw a Brain Dead. I've seen 2 cards from the Brain Dead Secret Lair played against me at the table so far since they were released. And this Thought Vessel, around $5, is very attractive to me because this one, I didn't love the look of the layer overall, but this one I actually kind of dig. It looks pretty cool.
You like kind of that green and grayish kind of look going on. It's got a fun aesthetic. I really like this aesthetic. I like that whole layer. I know that some folks didn't like the weird skull clamp tattoo and lightning greaves tattoo, but you know, it gets kind of weird over here at Magic the Gathering these days. But
yes,
Thought Vessel in this extremely, extremely different look. If you didn't play Magic, you might just be like, well, that's definitely not from the same game. But yeah,
failed
it
TCG
is.
from like 96 looking card here.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of exactly that. It's but it is cool. I do like that green aesthetic on this card.
Yep. Great pickup between that $4 and $6 route. Jake, $5 for a Marvel card? Not bad.
Bolt, baby. What you need to know about Lightning Bolt. It's a pauper card. It's a modern card. It is a very iconic old card that goes all the way back to Alpha. It was one of the very first cards that were ever printed in the game. And now 30 plus years later, here we are. It has made it into a Storm Secret Lair. Couldn't be more on theme as far as Storm being able to control the elements and being able to cast the Lightning Bolt. It's very cool. And what's great about this card as well is even though its application is more so for constructed 60 card formats, and you're not going to see it very often at the commander table, it is very much a CEDH card as it hits so much in that format. Most of the creatures in that format are very low to the ground, and Lightning Bolt is going to be a 1 red answer to clean up some of those pesky 2 and 3 drops that exist.
Yeah, between like around 5, like we said, for all these cards, like $20 ish, $24 to pick up a full play set of these even. Not a bad thing to look into right now because you know Marvel's going to be this year, next year, and I think the year after that as well. So people are going to be looking through the back catalog going, man, I got to get that Storm Lightning Bolt from that very first Secret Lair that popped out. It's only $5 to go and grab you a copy. Right. Speaking of Marvel Secret Lair, the unnatural growth that was included with the Wolverine Secret Lair available for $5 right now. The Groot on it with the Wolverine claws and the Wolverine hair made out of leaves. I just feel like these Marvel cards from this initial batch are going to age pretty well price-wise, especially as the interest gets a kick every time Marvel stuff comes out.
Yeah, I think, when we look at Lord of the Rings, for example, let's kind of keep in mind that Lord of the Rings, like, for example, the special holiday collector box, people were kind of low on that.
Oh, yeah.
We don't know what they're going to do for their Marvel treatments. We don't know if we're going to get crazy over-the-top movie poster treatments or what kind of weird variants we're going to get, what kind of serialized stuff is going to appear. I imagine we're going to get a myriad of chase variants that really push all of the Marvel stuff that comes out. And when we do, yes, people will revisit stuff like this. And as that product gets further and further away and people go, wow, you remember when like 5 years ago they did Marvel? Who knows where things are going to be in a few years when people are looking back at the big Marvel push and, Final Fantasy and stuff like that is come and gone and all these other IPs come and go. And what is Lord of the Rings going to look like? We're really here at the beginning of this booster fund thing. I know it's already been a few years, but it's just starting. And so Magic the Gathering, being the blob that it is that absorbs all these games, Marvel's a pretty big one. And yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see a big uptick in a lot of these popular Marvel cards.
Yeah, it definitely does feel like with Booster Fun, we're turning a corner of some kind right now with the announcement of, and you can go watch our video coverage of the whole thing, but with the announcement of Chaos Vault as a part of Secret Lair being like we need a place to get weird. I'm like, oh man, what is about to be coming down the pipe? And how much different is it going to be from just more cat cards? An offer you can't refuse, 1 blue, instant speed, counter target non-creature spell. Don't care that it gives them 2 treasure tokens. We stopped the thing that was going to stop us for a single blue mana. And this one has a cat. And that cat is cosplaying a famous Magic the Gathering character by the name of Jesse. And so I think that this card at $5 is an excellent pickup. I definitely want to grab a couple copies of the cat offer.
Yes, same. This card is very good. It's very sweaty, but it's a kitty, and it can be casual, and it can be competitive, and it is a cat.
Dogs, cats, anime, IPs, Secret Lair cards with unreprintable art. Those are the kind of things that we look for when we're making this list. Let us know in the comments if we helped you find a treatment that you've never seen before. You're like, oh, that card is tight. I gotta grab that from one of my decks. We would appreciate you hitting that subscribe button if you thought this video was cool at all.
Yeah, we appreciate you subscribing if you did like this video, and also shout out to all of the names that you see scrolling by. Those are our patrons at the $10 level or higher. We appreciate all of you so much. What an attractive bunch of names.
Wow.
We hope all of you have a good rest of your day, and thank you for watching this video. We appreciate you spending your time with us.
Bye.